Welcome back to another edition of the NRL Fantasy, all-out NRL Fantasy podcast. Dor, you're joining me after a great wedding on the weekend, mate. How was it?
Wedding was good, brother. Wedding was good.
Not your wedding.
No, it wasn't my wedding. Don't worry, ladies. I am still single. But yes.
But ready to mingle, I've heard.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But the great thing outside of the wedding, it was a lovely wedding, was my Broncos returning to form, brother. So that was a special victory royale for the Broncos on the weekend.
Yeah, and due to the wedding, you're feeling a bit under the weather, which means no Monday night with Dor last night.
Yes, no Monday night with Dor. Very sorry for the loyal followers of the Monday night with Dor, but we will be back next week. I just was very, very rusty.
No problems, man. We applaud you for being dusty. Like, you're allowed to be dusty. And I think all the listeners will be allowing that to happen. Just so we go well with this TLT podcast. Do you want to get straight into it, or do you want to go off the all-out team really quickly from last week?
I just was going to quickly just say we got 989 points for the all-out team last week for round 14. Look, some pretty good performances all around. Just unfortunately a couple of very poor performances. But big news with Tamale injury. I believe he's out for around like 10 weeks. So he's definitely 100% a sell, which is very unfortunate. He only scored 1 point. And then Iongi looks like he's starting to peak as well. Katoga maybe as well. Back-to-back bad scores for Katoga. So, yeah, look, outside of that, though, pretty good score, 989. Still inside the top 10,000, so not the end of the world, brother. But let's get straight on to TLT.
Yeah, round 15, the second major buy round, which means the starting 13 players only count this week. So if you're watching and you're wondering if your bench counts, no, you can loop, however, but they do not count this week. So make sure
Four
you know
trades
that.
as well.
Four trades as well.
Well, I guess we've sort of had 4 trades the last few weeks, but yeah, no.
For the Sharkies and the Drag, so first up on the Thursday night, Ronaldo returns from suspension to the wing. Hiroti pushes to the centres to replace Iro, who has a suspected pectoral injury. And Toby Rudolph is listed among the reserves. Fantasy-wise, nothing really to report here, in my opinion.
Diabolical. If you got Iro or only recently got Iro or had Iro, that's not good. And I'm hearing it actually. I haven't heard officially yet, but some people out of Sharks camp are saying that he's likely gone for the season.
Oh, wow, okay.
So he has done his pec. So that's definitely something to monitor. I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days. We found out Tamale's injury today. I'm pretty sure it was like an hour ago. So, yeah, outside of that cord, look, you still keep your Nico Hines, your Fanua Blakes. Britton Nicker, how did he go last week? I'm a tragic, as you know. I normally watch like all the footy, but last week I barely watched much at all with the wedding, but he got 40. Probably one to monitor. Outside of that for Cronulla cord, don't think so.
I'm not liking much at all.
There's anything else there, brother.
For the Drags, Val Holmes playing Origin means Corey Allen into the centres. Sloan returns on the wing. Emre Gul will start at prop. The big news here is that Hamish Stewart is on the bench for the Dragons this week and would have hurt a lot of people's buy-round planning. Potential for a late switch, but, you never know with the Drags. The good news is Toby Couchman remains on the edge and will play 80 minutes and continue to score well.
Yeah. Another player I should have mentioned. I think it's just the only one to look into with Cronulla is probably Hiroti. If Iro is gone for the season, Hiroti is the one that's going to benefit, and he's scored pretty well this season, averaging 38 fantasy points a game. The problem is he doesn't play the next buy round, but definitely one to monitor. Could be a bit of money to be made there. With the Dragons, yes. Now, Damien Cook, the very versatile Damien Cook, his versatility actually came back to haunt his fantasy coaches.
Yeah, well, I bought him. It was disgusting.
As he went to as he went to left center and scored diabolically. He should be back this week now with, Tui Pelotu was the one that went down. Nathan Lawson didn't have a good game either, but he kept his spot. I don't think really there's anyone to say go out and buy for the Dragons this week, Cord. But definitely your Couchmans, that's good to see him keep that spot. I think Cook's going to bounce back. I think Lawson will bounce back. I don't think there's any. Hamish Stewart should still go okay, but that's one to monitor. Could be, if he stays on the bench, I think you probably keep him up until that buy round, the next buy round, because he's a number for round 18. But after that third major buy round, he might definitely have to go, and he's not going to make that sort of money that we sort of hope for. But outside of that, no, don't think there's any really sells
nothing.
or buys for the Dragons or Cronulla really outside Hiroti.
This next game, there might be a few potential buys with the Titans. Tino and Mo both in camp, which means Cleese Haas starts at lock and his brother Isaac will join the bench. Alongside bench is Tui Simpkins, who last played in the NRL in 2021, believe it or not. Sam Verrills is listed among the reserves as he pushes for a return, which is pretty annoying considering those that bought potentially a cheapie in Mullany last week. I think Titans, for me, the big news is Jaden Campbell. You got to get him in your side almost.
I think the big news for the Titans, Cord, is that our good friend, actually, I wouldn't call him a friend anymore. Sorry, Queenslanders, but Billy Slater has dropped Bo Firma.
Yeah.
And I think, one, it is a horrific decision, but we're not going to get into the origin. Next Wednesday, before the game, we'll get into that. But I think his break even is 63 Cord, and I think Jaden Campbell's going to have a high break even as well because he didn't really have his best performance either, 75. So you're probably going to be buying them, even though they play this week, they're going to cost, their cost is not going to change, but their break evens are obviously high. So you could get them for a discount, but the problem is you basically you want to get them in for this week. So I think they're both season-long keepers, Firma and Campbell. I think they're great options this week, Cord. Outside of that, for the Titans, look, Mullany did play, I think, like 60 minutes and got around 30 points. They did get walloped. So it's not good with Verrills being named on the bench already. They were saying like 3 weeks. It's only been 1. So you'd hope if you did get Mullany that, and you need his number, that Verrills isn't going to come in. But outside of that, Cord, I don't think so. I think the ones you're really looking at as options for your team for the Titans is Campbell and Bo Firma.
For Manly, though, mate, Tom Trbojevic returns, which is good news for those that held potentially when he got him on return. Ruby Garrick continues to go pretty well in the centres. Tommy T, if he doesn't run circles around this Titans team, I'm concerned. It is such a bad lineup for the Titans. Like, I'm looking down Manly's list, and they should put 50 on him. Like, realistically.
They should put a good number on them anyway, and it's great to see Turbo back. Look, not fantasy-wise. I do have Turbo in Supercoach, and I was just like, I've got to hold him for this buy round. And I think fantasy coaches would have been the same. Like, got to hold Turbo for this buy round.
Moving down the list, though, Daly Cherry Evans named at 7 after being dropped. And again, we won't get into the origin considering that we are Queenslanders, but DCE dropped 7 for Manly this week.
We did touch on it last week, Cord, in this potty.
Potential buy.
Yeah, that he is a potential option.
Yeah.
639K. He's a bit below his normal standards, but I think definitely one to consider.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, Lehigh Hopewadi, we touched on, who's been in unreal form. Yeah, with that HIA, he is out this week. Our Jazzy Tavanga Cord, he continues to gobble.
Well, he's been named on the bench 15 here.
Same as he was
week.
last week, and he still gobbled.
There is still a potential for a late switch because he did start at prop last week. If that's the case, he's definitely a hold. Definitely.
Oh, 100%. And I don't think he's a sell either. I think we sell our Jazzy Tavanga Cord and those other lovely people that got on Jazzy Tavanga, get him out after that major buy round, unless he goes down injured. He's been terrific. Break even to 27, got 50 last week. He's basically close to pushing to a play in your 17 every week. Outside of that, for Manly, called Olakuatu, our Homole, really came back.
Yeah, really strong performance.
Believe that was his best score of the year with 95. So that was unbelievable for us, but also for his owners. He's definitely one to consider. Pulled out of Origin due to his wife expecting their second child, so didn't want to go over to Perth and then potentially have that. He was not going to be named in the 17 anyway. Fantasy-wise, look, hold on to Jazzy if you still got him. Humale Olakawatu could be a potential buy, but you're going to get a bit of fluctuation with his scoring. But look, as you just said, Cord, the Titans, very weak lineup this week, so Humale could be a really good option. DCE's one to look at as well. I'm not saying like go out, he's a must buy, but I think that he is a solid option. And then look, I wouldn't be buying Tommy Turbo, but definitely hold him. And then Garrick Garrick's a solid option to get into your side if you haven't got already with that dual eligibility in centre and wing fullback.
100%, mate. Moving on to the Knights and the Roosters. Callum Ponga in Maroons camp means Fletcher Sharp, who continues to gobble, moves back to fullback.
Blue helmet.
Blue helmet. Jackson Hastings comes in for the first time this season at 5'8". Could be absolutely anything this weekend. Absolutely anything.
I can't wait to watch Blue Helmet go about his business this weekend, Cord.
It actually could be anything.
We've been calling for it for a while, you and I. Get the Blue Helmet back, and he is back.
That's it really for the Knights. Dylan Lucas continues to go well for the Roosters after returning to the field last week. Sammy Walker has been named for his first NRL game of the season after rupturing his ACL.
My word.
It's bad news for anyone like me who sold Savala last week. He has kept his spot. Sandon Smith going back to the bench, and the other news is that Monkey Mark moves into the centres to replace Rabbitohs, who's in Origin. Diabolical news for the Roosters.
Wow, this is some great news in this game, Cord. We've got the helmet.
Not for me.
No. Well, when I mean great, it's like a lot of people are going to be excited by the return of the blue helmet.
Oh, I hope so.
And Sammy Walker coming back as well. He did play 40 minutes on the weekend. That was the plan. Brett Morris, the coach of the New South Wales Roosters team, said that was the plan for Walker to only play 40 minutes. So, yeah, he's straight back into it this week. Fantasy-wise, Cord, look, Fletcher Sharp, he's had a couple of really good games at fullback, and then he had one sort of average one. Hopefully he has a really good one. Marzu's a bit of a solid option, as well as, Dane Gagai. Dane Gagai's been killing it and doesn't look like he's going to be playing Origin. So there's some options there. Outside of that, you said it, Cord, Dylan Lucas continues to go well. So does Kai Pearce-Paul. Great options, those guys there. But just take into account with Newcastle that they do not play the next major bye round 18.
Correct.
So, look, seriously, I think the only ones that you're looking at getting in, I think everyone's sort of got Fletcher Sharp. So it's more Marzu and Gagai are potential options.
I'm actually not a Fletcher Sharp owner, believe it or not.
And then, look, the Roosters. Wow, this has caught me off guard. I'm not going to lie, because I kept Savala anyway, and I think I kept Sandon Smith as well. But, yeah, not good. Like, the all-out team sold Savala, I think, last week as well. I think a lot of people were expecting Sandon Smith to play. I don't know if it's going to stay 6 and 7. I really think that Savala is more of a 7 than he is a 6. So I thought Walker would be the 6 and Savala would be the 7. But anyway, another positive for the Roosters is the return of Nafu White. So that is a big in for the Roosters. Outside of that, look, am I going to say buy anyone? No, Teddy. If you haven't got Teddy, you need to get Teddy.
Maybe Teddy is, yeah.
I wouldn't be buying Sam Walker first game back. Oh, no. My Docker Clay. I got Docker Clay as a bit of an option, but that Ialu, I believe it is, has the young fella has been really good and unfortunately going to steal my Docker Clay's minutes. But anyway.
I'm definitely going to throw the captaincy on Teddy this weekend, I reckon. I'm going to send it and throw it on Teddy.
Yeah, no, that's a fair shout. I think it's really like I think Sandon Smith's probably a sell now. I think 100%. With this news, his break even's 38. He's averaging 37.1 for the season. But if you think about it, if he goes out and like barely plays this weekend and gets a really low score, his break even's going to go really high. You never pray for injury. So if this is the way that the Roosters are going to go, the only way I see it changing is if they get a couple of back-to-back losses. So I think if you've still got Sandon Smith, I think he has to go. And this will be Dom Young's last game for the Roosters, I believe, before he actually swaps to the opposition next week, where he goes back to Newcastle next week. So that's something to monitor there. But anyway, on to the next game, Cord.
Yeah, the Cowboys, the absence of Tom Dearden, Cotter, Nanai, and Robson on Origin duty means there's a whole lot of changes here. Scott Drinkwater takes over the captaincy, while Murray Talangi, Kyle Donald, Jackson Tamaolo all return from injury.
Ooh.
Braden Burns, Jakey Clifford, and McKaylee are all back inside alongside debutant Lars are the new faces. For the Finns, Jakey Averillo slides to fullback. Max Figo comes into the centres. Ray Stone returns from a shoulder injury on the bench. I'm looking down that list. Isaiah Katoa is a pretty good buy for me for this week. He has been absolutely killing it. I'd be doing everything in my power if I was a Dolphins GM just to basically keep him at Redcliffe. He is a gun.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, look, just quickly, poor old Dolphins, they've really suffered on the injury front this season. There's Gilbert gone for the season. That was confirmed today. Then there was Daniel Saifidi gone for the season. That was confirmed today. And then it looks like Plath is also gone for the season, which should be confirmed when he sees the specialist next week. So, look, Dolphins-wise, Herbie Farnworth's been outstanding this whole season. He's a gun center, season-long keeper. He's a great option if you haven't got him already. Like you said, Cord, Isaiah Katoa, absolutely exceptional on the field in NRL, and NRL fantasy-wise, he's killing it too. So he's a really good option. Outside of that, I'm not really seeing anything else for the Dolphins, unless Kurt Donahue had a good game on the weekend, which I don't know. He had 41. He's a bit of an option, Kurt Donahue, 41 points, break even to 14. I wouldn't say he's like a must-have, but he's definitely one like a little cheeky little buy. Cowboys-wise, look, Drinkwater, we weren't sure what he was going to put up against his old club against the Storm, and he put up a pretty solid performance, Cord, 56 points, break even of 54. Now is the time to get Big Drinky into your team. Cowboys don't have a bye until the last round of the season. Outside of that, I think you hold on to Purdue. Like I said, he did get 30-odd, but I think you hold on to him. Otherwise, no other real fantasy options there. Good to see Tamalolo back. And then also we wish Tom Leroy Lars's son, Caden Lars, like you said, who's making his debut, all the best this weekend. Outside of that, Cord, I think we're good to move on to the last game, brother.
Yeah, last game. Flying through it here. Rabbitohs, Jai Gray will play fullback with Latrell Mitchell in Blues camp. Sullivan moves to 5'8". Good to see Humphreys named at halfback again for those that bored him like myself. Moali has been added to the bench for the Bulldogs after coming off the bench. Lachlan Garber moves into the starting side. Matty Burton in Blues camp, 18th man, which really hurts owners of Matty Burton. He won't be playing, you'd say, which definitely hurts. Jacob Carraz moves to centre to cover for Stephen Crichton. And other than that, Max King on duties. Josh Curran shifts to the front row. Preston returns. And other than that, not much relevance, to be honest.
There's some really juicy buys.
Yeah, big buys.
In this game. We gave Kiraz a week. We wanted to see how he was going to return from injury, and holy hell, he returned in flying colours.
Returned with a bang. Those offloads are actually cheese.
Yeah, 65 points in his first game back, and came back 2 weeks early from injury as well, Cord. Look, if you've got that Mula...
He had 7 offloads on the weekend, 28 points.
If you've got the Mula cord and you want to splurge, Jacob Kiraz, look, 729. He is unbelievable.
Oh, he's such a buy, isn't he?
He's a great option. Elsewhere from the Doggies, look, Preston returning. He is going to be hungry. Look, long suspension. He hasn't been injured. He's coming back. And I think he's going to be playing 80 big minutes. And I think he's a really, really good buy to get into your side as well if you need an edge. Josh Curran, he played 80 again, so that was good to see. And he should play probably 80 again. He's a bit of an option as well. I do prefer Preston over Curran, but look, still, again, a good option. Harry Hayes had a good game on the weekend, but I can't justify buying someone off the bench. Otherwise, that's really it. Connor Tracy had a good game as well, but I wouldn't be buying him. So I think it's just Kiraz, Curran, or Kiraz and Preston are the main ones there, and you could go and get Curran as well. He's not a bad option. For South, look, Jai Gray's only just coming back into that fullback position because Trell's on origin duties, like you said.
Yeah.
Otherwise, hopefully Humphreys can get back to his good form. Great to see Keon not selected in Origin, Cord.
Yeah, $800K now. He's probably too expensive. Like, you've actually missed a boat there.
Yeah, well, he's just been exceptional, so that's a good option. Him and, he is very expensive, like you said, Cord, but him and Aiken are still great options.
He plays both buy rounds, which is actually a killer.
They're going to be huge.
Here's a hot take.
What's up?
I would honestly sell Aaron Clark for him.
You would sell Aaron Clark for Keon? I don't hate it.
Like, last week I sold Tarpany to get in AFB for this round.
Yeah.
Proved wonders. I'm going through a few games here. They don't play this week, obviously. They got the Penrith Panthers. Then they play The Broncos. Then they don't play round 18.
I don't hate it, but
I reckon you could sell him.
You could sell him, but I reckon Aaron Clark's a season-long keeper. I'd probably move. Like Tarpany, like you said.
Who's going to score better, though? 80 minutes of prop, Keon or...
Keon. Keon's looks like he's playing 80 every week.
Your answer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So I'd rather just try to get both of them in at the same time if possible, but they probably can't. But
the only issue is with selling Aaron Clark is that if you do so and you don't have a backup hooker, then you're running with one hooker like myself with Damien Cook all year. So, that's an issue.
Yeah, that is the issue. Outside of that for South Court, that's really it. Hubner's been pretty good the last few weeks for South as well, probably making a little bit of money. But not really that much, but he is making a little bit. Outside of that, I think that is really it for this TLT. I think the options that we touched on, actually, I see Campbell Graham lurking down there in position 19. He could be a late in. I think he was laid out last week with those back spasms, so he could be a late in into the South team. But otherwise, I think Preston, who else am I saying? Sorry, Cord, before I know you want to get this over. I think Preston's a really good buy this week. Kiraz is a great option. Look, if you haven't got Keon, he's a great option too. I think Tedesco and Drinkwater, that'd be probably my top 5 buys to get in. Katoa probably a close 6th. So there's some really good options to get in this week. It's going to be a juicy and a lovely buy, hold, sell. Otherwise, stay tuned for that podcast. Should be out tomorrow night. Wednesday night, that is. And we will see you next week for round 16's TLT podcast. See you then.
Bye.